I want to thank everyone for joining today. Today's webinar is Insights on Workforce Reentry. My name is Nicole Mormillo, and I am ILR class of 2012 and the president of the ILR Alumni Association. Today marks the kickoff of the ILRAA's Career Transition Initiative Lunch and Learn series. This initiative aims to support alumni who are reentering the workforce, navigating a layoff, or pivoting in their career, and will cover various topics like job search with recruiting firms, using social media and new tech tools, and thought leadership and personal branding. We're also offering complimentary headshots across 6 cities. I'll share more details at the end of today's program about the initiative and how you can get involved. And I want to let you know that today's session is being recorded and will be uploaded to the ILRAA groups page on CUE Links upon its launch. We're in the works with CUE Links to make this page. So I encourage you to create a CUE Links profile to connect with the ILRAA group. So I'm excited to introduce today's speaker, Mara Urizzo, a senior strategy coach at the outplacement firm Challenger Gray & Christmas. Mara has experience working within the beauty and publishing fields and extensive experience as an educator, senior strategy coach, professional branding coach, and social media subject matter expert. Mara's educational background includes earning an undergraduate degree in journalism from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and she subsequently entered the Bard College Master's in Teaching program as a Petrie Fellow, earning a master's degree. Her experience in the field of advertising began as a sales assistant for Computer Shoppers magazine, then an ad sales account executive with Ziff Davis, and as an interactive account executive. Mara then joined Standard Rate and Data Services. Her next position was with Estee Lauder, where she worked as executive assistant to the VP general manager of Aveda International. And Mara's career in education encompassed teaching high school global and U.S. history and government in New York City and middle school American history in Chicago. Mara joined Challenger Gray & Christmas in 2015. She brings her strong educational, organizational, communicative, and coaching skills, as well as her outgoing yet compassionate personality to the company. These attributes help to facilitate the connection needed between a coach and the client. In 2019, Mara joined the LinkedIn team as a subject matter expert, and we'll get to learn about her expertise in another one of our sessions. And she now splits her time between both outplacement coaching and LinkedIn coaching, utilizing her digital branding expertise as well as her creative strategic approach. I'm excited to turn things over to Mara to kick off the Career Transition Initiative. She'll give us an overview of various topics that we'll dig into throughout the course of the next few months with this initiative. And she'll take questions from the audience during this session. So please add your questions to the Q&A box, and we'll try to get through as many as possible during the hour. We will have Mara present, and then we'll get to the questions at the end. So Mara, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mara, senior strategy coach. I've been doing outplacement for 8.5 years. I didn't even know outplacement existed prior to this, but it is a fascinating field helping people who are in transition, whatever that might mean. So we start off with an agenda for today's presentation. So during this presentation, I'll provide you with tools that can help you start your job search. I will start by talking about change and the effect of change on our lives and how we can manage that change. Then I'm going to focus on 3 main areas that will help you design a robust job search campaign. And each is comprised by a variety of actions, resources, and activities. The first is the development of your brand and marketing tools, and we'll talk about skills assessment, your resume, the importance of an elevator pitch, and a great LinkedIn profile, as well as your online presence in general. The second is due diligence, and we'll talk about how to best research careers, jobs, industries, or people. And the third is called Perfect Your Game. It's all about preparation. And we'll concentrate a bit on interviewing. And many of these things, you will also be able to go and watch a webinar later that goes into more detail with specific people who are subject matter experts in those areas. So before we go into these three main areas, let's talk about managing change. So every change and or disruption in our lives brings about feelings of disappointment, anger, anxiety, happiness, guilt, shock, anticipation, nervousness, even surprise. So what does this mean? Everyone does not respond to change emotionally in the same way, and that's normal. So the disruptions to our normal lives in this world bring about change that are sometimes hard to grasp or control. And during a transition, it's normal to have varying emotions. And it's important, really important, to acknowledge them so you can respond to these changes as efficiently and successfully as possible. The first step is to create a plan of action. So part of that plan now needs adjusting. You will now need to adjust and adapt to a new schedule, new goals, new tasks, new target organizations, maybe even a new career, and even the way you develop relationships to help you in your job search. Adjusting to new possibilities is critical. And if there's a time to work hard, this is the time. We can't control the change, but we can control how we respond to that change. So during job searching, we encourage you to take the opportunity to learn and grow and look for positives and stay motivated. With that said, this webinar is about presenting you with the very important tools that could help you manage these changes in your life and move forward. And I can't stress this enough. The number one thing for you to do is to take care of yourself during this time. Keep doing the things that you normally would do to make yourself happy. Spend time with your kids, exercise, get your nails done, go to the gym, whatever it is that makes you happy on a daily basis. You want to keep doing that because your happiness will shine through when you're looking for a new job, when you're interviewing, and keeping a schedule as in job search, because it's now your full-time job, is really important. But it shouldn't be your entire life. You want to keep living your life and keeping positive, staying motivated. So the first area that will help you design a robust job search campaign is to create a branding and marketing strategy. Within this area, the first thing you need to do is assess your skills. So why is that so important? Because, and we will mention many times over the importance of keywords and skills and abilities, because you will never be able to sell your product, and that product is you, to potential buyers if you don't first develop a brand for yourself or create a marketing strategy around your product. Your job now is to identify your hard, soft, and transferable skills to market that product to potential employers. So with that, what are hard skills? Hard skills are those which can be developed through specialized training in defined subject matters. These skills are often quantifiable and easy to observe. They're technical or procedurally oriented and necessary to carry out a specific job function. They're specific, teachable, and based in facts. So some examples of hard skills included speaking a foreign language, proficiency in a computer program, artificial intelligence, cloud migration, SaaS, machine learning, accounting, financial analysis. It's all the things that people are going to specifically want because only you can do that, or you do that best. Then we get to the soft skills. So that's a little bit different. They're more subjective. They're usually a little bit harder to measure, but unlike hard skills, they can't be taught. They're often ingrained in our personal attributes and character. They complement the hard skills that are necessary to carry out a job function. And generally, they dictate that behavioral aspect of how one relates to others and approaches a situation. And really, that's where the likability comes in. People will like you because of who your character is. So it's a combination of these two. And soft skills are demonstrated both in and out of the workplace. So examples of those are being analytical, being a critical thinker, a problem solver, a good communicator, or being people-oriented. So the next step is to determine which of these soft and hard skills you want to transfer to another job. They're called transferable or portable skills. And only you can determine which skills you want to continue using in your next job as part of your career path. But again, when potential employers are looking at you, they're going to look at the skills because you've done something before, you can do it again. But it doesn't have to be that you did it exactly the same way, much the same as I'm an educator. Sure, I was great in the classroom, but now I educate adults. It's totally different, arguably much more fun. But it's something that I'm transferring. So I like speaking to an audience because I'm used to it. I like to manage different types of personalities and all of that. So those are transferable skills for me. So employee training makes sense. So once you determine what you want to continue using in your next job as part of your career path, you can then be more specific. So the reasons behind selecting these skills can vary from person to person. For example, you can pick the skill because you like to perform it, or you enjoy the skill because it brings you gratification, like helping others. The impact of the skill on others or on a specific process. It could be a key skill in the modern workplace, or it could simply be a lucrative skill that sets you apart from others. Whichever the reason, we encourage you to select your top 15 to 25 skills that you want to transfer to another job. So we're going to go through an example here of a person's transferable skills. So some are hard, some are soft, and the skills identification is the foundation of your marketing plan, your resume, and your LinkedIn profile. And I'm going to mention LinkedIn many times because, of course, that's what I spend most of my time working with C-suite clients. But one of the most important things that somebody will look at in a profile and on your resume is your specific skills. It's about findability. And the more you mention them, the more it's important. These skills and accomplishments throughout your career will become those keywords, and keyword optimization you will also hear throughout many different of these presentations that will make you noticeable to potential employers. So skill development. If you determine that some of your skills you want to transfer to a potential employer need development, we encourage you to list them and decide which is the best path of action for skill development. So it's not like you have to walk into a new situation without training. Training is great. You can get certifications. So the Project Management Institute has PMI, there's SHRM, that's HRCI that have HR certifications. You can find different certifications and different areas, including your local Department of Labor, and libraries usually offer free skills training. There's online learning courses like Coursera or edX or Khan Academy. And even the top schools in the United States, including Cornell, have continuing education programs and online universities that can help you with transferable skills and certifications to develop your hard skills. Now, you can also volunteer and do stretch assignments. And stretch assignments, to explain a little bit more, if your bandwidth allows, you can ask for work assignments from another department in your organization. You'll not only bring value to that company, but you enhance your visibility. That's another way of getting more visibility and gaining more skills. It's kind of cross-functional training. Volunteering is also a great way to develop skills, and it's a great way to network because you're meeting new people from different areas. Also, you can work with transferable skills and discover this through taking a formal assessment, reviewing past feedback like 360 reviews, reflect on past achievements, and we recommend keeping a journal or a workbook so that you can remember these. It also helps a lot to go through these skills and abilities areas to when you're developing your resume and making that even more succinct, because you want to know, okay, how many times am I repeating this? Do I give examples? Those examples can then go to success stories later on, and all of that helps you with interviewing and relatability. So TLHQ identifies a broadly applicable transferable skills that employers are almost always looking for. So it starts with adaptability, and these are all for 2024 specifically, but they kind of have always been around. Adaptability, of course, the ability to respond and adjust to changes. Attention to detail, focusing on the finer parts of your work. Communication skills, being clear about sharing your ideas, both in person and virtually. And having strong listening skills, that's extremely important. Critical thinking skills, using logic and reason to analyze all aspects of a situation. Decision making, dependability, reliability, making sure that people show up, emotional intelligence, and managing other people's emotions as well. Having a growth mindset is very important. The eagerness to learn and hear feedback and use it to improve. Taking initiative, willingness to stand up or to step up to new challenges. Leadership skills, the ability to inspire and organize others, organization, problem-solving skills, professionalism, and demonstrating respect and polished behavior in the workplace, teamwork or collaboration, and then, of course, time management, efficiently planning and allocating your hours and energy to solve those problems and meet deadlines. So at the end of this, you'll have the availability for a list of technology and jobs search support that offers websites where you can find some organizational tools, skills assessments, interviewing development, and company research, in addition to motivation and mental health links. This way, and you can find all of this. This is part of TLHQ, gives this list that I just gave, but it will help you to kind of navigate and find ways that you can really amplify your skills, your hard, soft, and transferable skills. So the next step is, of course, the resume. And the resume, this is your #1 marketing tool because it's the one thing that they're going to look at. It's a piece of paper or it's online. And remember that your LinkedIn profile is essentially your online resume. So they should probably match as much as possible, at least be aligned with one another. But the content of your resume showcases your hard, soft, and transferable skills, as well as labels your professional accomplishments through your career. And again, employers want to hire people that can do something. If they've done it before, they can do it again. So your resume will enable you to stand out from the competition and support your brand in general. A strong resume is written specifically for the ease of the reader, and it's designed to help you get past the professional screening process and land you in an interview with a potential employer. So those days of people saying, oh, well, I can put extra skills in the white space, make it white and show up. People know about that. It doesn't look good. You want it to be as clear and concise and specific and honest as possible. And in addition to the traditional resume, you have your LinkedIn page, which can also be saved as a PDF and may be used by recruiters prior to contacting you. So it's important to make sure that's up to date as well. So this is an example of a resume. A well-organized resume is the original job search marketing tool, but it's not going away anytime soon. However, it has multiplied, its uses have multiplied. It can support your brand in a number of ways, including providing networking opportunities, content for your LinkedIn profile. It's a takeaway piece in a one-on-one coffee meeting, and more. And this is just an example, but what you're seeing here is it's breaking everything down into pieces. And if you're not recently graduating, the education goes down. It's now a summary of your expertise at the top. It's no longer your objectives, because clearly your objective is to get a job. We also want people to detach themselves from the area, from that idea that your resume needs to be one page. That is no longer the case. And if you save your profile on LinkedIn as a PDF, you'll see it will automatically be more than one page because they add black space. Do not worry about that. The days of faxing your resume have ended, so we don't worry about how many pages are going through. It's more about clarifying what you're bringing to the table and making it really easy to read. So another vital tool for your branding and marketing yourself is your elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch is a short prepared talk that will showcase your professional value, and it's typically formed in four main paragraphs. The first paragraph is, who are you? Your soft skills. The second is, what do you do? Your hard skills. In other words, what can you do for them? Then there's examples of when you did this, your actions, and results from success stories. And then finally, it's what you're looking for. So this is an example of an elevator pitch that focuses on skills and ability. So in this particular case, my name is Carla Kent, and I'm an ambitious and energetic sales executive with an extensive project management experience. I've always demonstrated outstanding customer service and adaptable leadership and keen communication skills that lead to financial profitability for my employers. That's the who you are. I understand companies' business operational and project lifestyles, including development of products, marketing, quality, and manufacturing. In sales, I know how to establish credibility and trust with potential employers to develop successful business deals. That's the hard skills. With US Foods, I became a top producer within my first 15 months on the job, generating me more than $1 million in monthly revenue. That's examples of successes. And again, if you can quantify this, great, because people love to hear numbers, percentages in this area. Then, of course, I'm looking for a position in sales or project management where I could develop a book of business while showing leadership and a clear understanding of project lifestyle and operating procedures. And the key here is what you could do, because it's what you could do for the company. It's not about what you want. It's more about what you can do for them. You know, at the end of the day, they don't care what you want. They want to hire you for what you can do for them. That's why they'll pay you. So another critical tool to brand and marketing yourself is your LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn is the business social media tool. I mean, I work with hundreds of C-suite people a year, and if they have no other social media whatsoever, they have a LinkedIn profile. And with 1 billion users now, and that is up from 730 million last year at this time, it's imperative to have a profile if you want to be found. In fact, a simple Google search of anyone's name will often bring up their LinkedIn page first. A LinkedIn profile is like a 45-second elevator pitch, plus your resume, a marketing statement, your business card, recommendations, keywords, all in one place. And LinkedIn enhances your visibility to millions of professionals using that platform. There's a high chance that recruiters are actively searching for candidates just like you, but if you're not on here, they can't find you. And by having a compelling LinkedIn profile, you increase the likelihood of being discovered. It's often the first search result, and it's really important to remember why you have to be there. It's because you want to be found. So why is it critical? Well, research tells us that 70% of all posted jobs are on LinkedIn. 48% of all job openings are posted on LinkedIn that are not posted elsewhere. The LinkedIn Recruiter tool. So this is a separate tool that only LinkedIn recruiters have. It is $8,500 per user. So when you're in LinkedIn Recruiter mode, it's not that everybody can see that you're looking for a job. It's only for recruiters. And in fact, they actually hide it from your own company that you have, that you say that you work for, on LinkedIn for 6 months. So recruiters, because they don't want people to know that people are looking. But it's a really important tool. Now, 80% of all recruiters use this as their first screening step. In fact, 98.5% of companies use LinkedIn as some sort of screening tool. Recruiters consider LinkedIn profiles to be more accurate. They trust that the content of it's more than the content of the resume, because according to research, people will provide more accurate information because it's published. So they're not going to fib about their accomplishments. So, and that's kind of crazy, but 90% of college students have admitted that they have embellished their resumes. Whereas on LinkedIn, people tend to be more factional because coworkers, bosses, and other professionals are looking at the content and know this person's career. Plus, it's in writing. LinkedIn profiles follow the same standard format in the same order. So side-by-side comparisons are much easier for recruiters when they're trying to compare skills and qualifications of candidates for a job. And unlike resumes, where the format and style may vary from person to person, this makes it really easy to see everybody in the same form. Also, when recruiters are passing along your resume, they're going to pass this along from the PDF. They're not going to pass your actual LinkedIn profile, because that's kind of awkward for HR. You know, you don't want to show somebody's picture first. It's really more about what the person's bringing to the table. So, benefits of becoming a LinkedIn user. Once you have a strong LinkedIn profile, we encourage clients to use LinkedIn because of its useful functions during job search. So this isn't a place where you can advertise your skills by posting your professional experience, your accomplishment, and education. And in fact, when we go through this in a couple of weeks, you'll see that you can actually use skills in various different areas and highlight them in multiple places within your profile. The number one way you're found on LinkedIn is through keywords. Number 2 is how many connections you have. Number 3 is your activity. You can use LinkedIn to develop a network of connections of people that you know, as well as people that they know. But you want to establish a connection with them. And those are called second-degree connections. According to LinkedIn, most people find their job through second-degree connections. You can research companies on here, follow their activities, connect with their employees and hiring managers. And you can even use filters to see, do I know anybody that knows somebody there, or do I know somebody directly? You can set up phone conversations with potential employers by taking your conversation offline. You can customize your URL on LinkedIn so that it doesn't have those crazy numbers at the end. You can join professional virtual groups, which then also shows your commonalities with others. And you can also give and receive recommendations, as well as skills and endorsements. And of course, you can apply for jobs on there. And what you'll notice is that when you're applying for jobs on LinkedIn, a lot of them will bring you to their page anyway. But at the same time, you can still use that as a starting point. As part of your brand, your online presence is really important to remember. You know, social media is social, but it's also the first thing that people look. The first thing anybody does is they Google them. So as part of the development of your brand, you want to pay close attention to your online presence. So during a job search, you should control your social media channels. Take a look at your Facebook, your Instagram, your Snapchat, your Twitter, whatever it is. According to Challenger research, the web is now the first place individuals go to find out more information about each other, and more than 80 million names are searched every single day. The way you're portrayed on the web is your online presence. This presence is comprised of content posted by you or other people on the web, and more than 90% of recruiters will perform an online search of a candidate's name before contacting them for a potential interview. I would even go as far to say that even once they make an offer, they're still looking at your social media to see not only what you talk about, but how you portray your former employer and everything else. Your online presence is your online reputation. And the best way to know your own reputation is to Google yourself. A non-professional professional online presence may hurt a person's candidacy, and a positive professional online presence can help them find their next position. Some people may say, you know what, I'm not going to have social media at all. That way we'll be safe. But the problem with that is that if you're not on social media and you don't even have a LinkedIn profile, that makes you invisible, which could be a red flag. It could make you appear out of touch and unprepared for the requirements of today's business world. The assumptions often made are that you're either out of date with technology or that you're hiding something. That's also why you want a LinkedIn picture, because you want to know, people want to know who you are. I think it also helps if you're going in for an interview that somebody knows exactly who they're meeting with. So we suggest that you do have social media accounts and that your online presence be professional. So what I mean by that, be aware of what you post, comment on, etc. Given how relentlessly recruiters and potential employers search online to get a sense of a job applicant's personality and fit, sharing can be a dangerous thing. So manage what is visible to the world. That's really important. You want to be aware of third-party comments or tags. Take a look and see what pictures you're tagged in. It doesn't matter how old they are. You might want to remove some of those tags from college or something else that just aren't appropriate. Through the proper use of social media, you control that message, who you are and what you do. You don't want people to let people publish things that other people can see that you're not comfortable with. Because again, at the end of the day, this is your brand and it's all about brand management. If you don't think your online presence is up to par for a successful job search, then review your web footprint. For example, delete content that you've posted that's not up to par with your professional image that you want to portray. That includes videos, pictures, content, or tags. So again, you want to perform your due diligence. The next big step in this action plan is to perform your due diligence, which includes research. You want to research people, companies, jobs, careers. And the more informed you are, the better decisions that you're likely to make. So one great research tool is the Occupational Outlook Handbook. It's a nationally recognized source of career information designed to provide valuable assistance to individuals making decisions about their future. It's updated every 2 years by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The handbook describes what workers do on the job, working conditions, the training and education needed, earnings, and forecasted job growth in a wide range of occupations. So Career One Stop is a website sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor and has information on career exploration, training, and jobs. It could help you analyze your current skills, compare them against other jobs you may like, and see if there's a gap for you to fill to get to that next step in your career. The ONET program is the nation's primary source of occupational information. Central to the project is the ONET database with hundreds of standardized and occupation-specific descriptors. This database also provides career exploration tools, a set of valuable assessment instruments for workers and students looking to find their next career change. So researching the jobs and industries. So this is directly from the BLS a couple of months ago, but it shows that the fastest growing industries, so software publication or the information sector, then computing infrastructure, data processing, web hosting. None of this is surprising with the advent of AI and everything else. These are hot topics. Personal care services or the other services sector, home health care, physicians, medical, diagnostics, healthcare. Again, with an aging population, not surprising. Then there's computer system design and related services, professional and business services sector. Management, scientific and technical consulting. So also professional business services. And then the oil, gas, extraction, and mining sector is also another growing field. And that includes like greening of society and all of that. So there's a lot of different industries on the rise. Remember that the market is always shifting though. So it's important that you do your own research on industries and jobs because that's what's going to be the most important for you. So the market, again, it's always shifting. So these are some of the fastest growing occupations, and then also the fastest growing wage and salary employment. So again, it's really, there's a lot of healthcare, there's a lot of computer oriented or any kind of AI, information technology, any of that, that's all. Even you'll see a lot of warehouse and supply chain, all really hot topics. So you can also research jobs through job search engines. That's what they're there for. We recommend using LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor. You can open the sites and enter your keywords by specific criteria and then browse the results. LinkedIn also offers advanced filters to get more focused results, but there's a lot of information out there simply by looking in the search bar of anything. Now, when you are researching companies, for example, on LinkedIn, you can actually, on a company page, you can see how many employees there. If you click on that area with how many employees, you will then get to the filters. So that's one way to filter out and see. You can filter by how the people that you might know at that organization, either it's first degree, those are direct connections, or second degree, meaning you have connections in common. So when researching, you type in the name of the company in the LinkedIn homepage or the search bar, go to their company page, and you can look for information in the jobs that they post. You can also find the number of people who work at their company. You can click on that and then see if they're a part of your network. So then you can go and then see, oh, well, so-and-so works at this company. Maybe I should reach out to them. It's also a really good idea to keep a list of these things. So I mentioned earlier, keeping a journal, a list. You want to keep a list of companies that you might want to work for, list of people who are integral in your search process. And that can be people you don't even think about that, that are even in your house to practice while you're interviewing and while you're looking for jobs. You want to utilize your entire network. Everybody is now possibly a potential key to your next position. So the last step to a successful job search is perfecting your game. It's about the preparation. And I can't state this enough. It's not just because I'm a teacher. You want to prep no matter what. You want to do your research and prepare. And we're going to concentrate on interviewing and virtual technology because no matter what, this is a mainstay, especially post-COVID. Interviewing, it's in our belief that you will not get a job because you're skilled, but because you're liked. It's the likability factor. People want to hire people like themselves and people that they like. So it can be as simple as no matter what, whether it's online or in person, it's that smile. It's seeing people want to know that you're smiling, that you're looking in their eyes. It's the virtual handshake. The difference between competencies and compatibility is that likability factor. Competencies are the skills you bring to the table, and the compatibility is that positive viewpoint of the employer, and they can see you as a part of their team. During an interview, you need to know how to sell your skills and accomplishments. But if all candidates do this well, then the competencies become a wash. The wild card is that likability factor, your compatibility with the interviewer. Because again, if they can see themselves having lunch with you, even if it's virtually, they want to spend more time with you. That means that they're comfortable passing you along to that next stage of the interview process. So your interviewing skills. Once you land this interview, you want to showcase your competencies and compatibility in every single step of the interview. For example, tell me about yourself. Now, people hate that question. Tell me about yourself because it's, well, do I go personal? Do I talk about what I do outside of work? Really, you want to keep in mind, this is an icebreaker question. It's the most common question ever asked. And the way that you answer this question will set the tone of your interview. So it's not about your personal life. Your responses should not be about your family or your personal situation or anything that's not relevant to the job and what you could do for a company. Again, it's about what you can do for them. It's also not about your chronological work history. If they ask you to walk you through your resume, sure, then you go in area of, in order of operations. But the interviewer already has that resume and an idea of your work history. So there's no need to tell them what they already know. Your answers should all be positive, never a negative statement. You're selling a product, and people have good feelings about products that are positive. And the interviewer needs to know that there's nothing wrong with this product. There's no negative energy. The most effective way to answer this question is with your skills and abilities that you bring to the table that you could perform for that job. The answer to this question may provide a foundational information for the rest of the questions and answers during the interview. So in this case, I'm a creative and effective problem solver who implements customer-focused solutions. I'm also a considerate, diplomatic colleague who gets along well with others while keeping the team motivated. In addition, I'm an energetic and efficient individual who produces good work for the company and gets results. It's a positive introduction. It's something that you're going to make on your own. I suggest, of course, you want to create this for yourself, but you're going to say it so many times that it will become your own and not being read off of the page. But this is something that is really important because it's positive. It shows what you're bringing to the table. It brings both soft skills, but also tangible skills and transferable skills that you really want to go forward. Now, there's the difficult question to ask. One of the most difficult questions that also people hate answering is, why did you leave your job? Now, the normal tendency is to over-explain this. And you don't want to be all blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, I did this or I hated the company or anything else. The more you talk, the worse it could get. So it's really good to go through at least the past couple of positions and really come up with a good way to explain this. So the question about leaving your job may be a concern for you, but the main objective for this employer is to see what you could do for them. So you don't want to make it something that's a really big deal. You don't want to blame yourself or the company. You want to keep your answer short, simple, and truthful. You want to avoid using terms like terminated or laid off or fired because it makes people feel bad. And the bottom line is you want to be done with that. You want to really show that, oh, well, this was no big deal and I'm excited for my next position. So a good way to explain this. So let's say it's a consolidation. The organization consolidated positions. If they want more detail, it was a business decision to consolidate, eliminating XYZ or this many positions across the organization. So now I'm looking for a new opportunity. So when anybody asks me, well, why did you leave teaching? I explain, well, Chicago Public Schools made a business decision to consolidate, eliminating 500 positions, including mine. So I decided to look for new opportunities. It's no big deal. Granted, I knew that this was a possibility because it was in the news every single day. It's public, right? But it's not due to anything I did. I was just the last person hired, so that first person let go if they had to get rid of somebody. And this is just something that happens all the time. Most people have been through some sort of consolidation at some point in their life. And it's about explaining these things without making it a sob story. Then we get to the virtual interview. So it's something that you want to think about because so many companies are doing this, even if it's just their first interview. It's a really important thing to take a hold of and really embrace. You want to remember that many recruiting efforts have gone to virtual because it's easy to schedule, and we can do this from the comfort of our home. But you also want to stand out from your competition. So you need to understand video communication. So some recommendations for a successful virtual interview. Number one, test your technology. Make sure your internet, video speakers, and mic are working properly. Perhaps test it, make sure, even if it's a Zoom connection, see if you can practice with somebody else. Practice a mock interview in front of a mirror or the computer. So seeing your image is in the dual screen does not distract you. Use your phone video and record yourself. You should also practice live. You can do that on Zoom, WhatsApp, Google Duo, Microsoft Teams, or FaceTime with a friend. Ask them for feedback on the video quality and lighting and voice. You should also evaluate that lighting. So you don't want to be backlit because then you'll have a halo around your head. You want to look at your camera angles. You don't want to sit with a window behind you because of that light coming through will be an image that makes it too bright, or you'll be in a shadow and won't be seen. Choose a neutral area away from clutter and interruptions. You can even use a background like I have in the back. But what's important to remember is that you don't want anything that's that's moving around too much. So earlier, I had earrings on, and I noticed, I'm going to put them back on and see if you guys see it, but I noticed that if I moved around, they kept on moving. And I'm like, I don't want to distract anybody, so I just took them off. Nobody cares if I'm wearing earrings or not. But you don't want anything to look weird. You know, you want to wear professional office attire from top to bottom, and I can't stress this enough. And we've all probably seen those commercials where somebody steps up and you see their underwear or something silly, but people do this. It's ridiculous. You want to feel like you're in an interview. You want to you want to feel like you're in your best mode. You know, wear a suit. There's nothing wrong with that. In case you need to step away from the computer, this is a good idea, but it also makes you feel more professional and feel positive. Choose solid colors, avoid busy patterns that can overwhelm your computer and camera screen. It might cause, processors might cause them to blur or freeze your image. Plaids and pinstripes appear to move and shift on screen while the camera is moving, and it could also distract the interviewer. Avoid something that's too white. You know, if you're wearing all white, it's too bright, it might look, you know, too flashy, or like you might look like a floating head. Limit hand gestures. It's a really good idea, and this is during regular interviews as well. You want to sit still. You want to avoid too many movements. If I'm talking like this, you'd only look at my hands. It's just too much. Hand gestures, fidgeting, and movement can be distracting. You also want to make sure that your phone is not your main area of concentration. You don't want to check your phone or your emails while you're interviewing. Turn the phone, mute it. If it's going to be a distraction, move it away. I like keeping my phone nearby just in case something goes wrong. I don't think that's a bad idea, but again, you don't want to keep looking at it. This is not an opportunity to multitask. You want to connect with your audience as if you were face to face. You want to practice, again, looking into that, smiling, you know, and I'm not saying keep a smile like this. It's just you want to be likable, somebody that they'd want to talk to. Show your enthusiasm. You're happy to be in the interview, and respect the time that's given to you. Lastly, treat the virtual interview as you would an in-person interview. Research the company, the interviewers, look at their Facebook profiles. I'm sorry, not Facebook. So look at their LinkedIn profiles and follow up with a thank you note or a phone call or an email. You know, you're going to have another interview specific webinar on March 19th that will go even further into this, but it's good practice to remember what you look like on screen. It's just a good practice to keep everything likable, positive, upbeat. So I hope that these insights into re-entering the workforce are helpful in launching your search. My final recommendations are: know that all of your feelings are normal. This is the first step in moving forward. It's normal to have all of the emotions, and you want to be in control. Take charge of what's happening in your life. Remember, your circle of control starts with you. Adapt. As I said when we started, the only thing under our control is our capacity to access, understand, and adapt to these new situations. Identify your to-dos and turn goals into actions. Your job is now to find a new job. Your priorities have changed, and your power to adapt will make you successful. Talk to people. Those include the other people who are also looking for a job, and everybody could be a potential key for finding that next position or career or area of expertise. The goal is to move you ahead and overcome obstacles so that you can create a positive strategy to embrace your work with this change. Your support to others will also help you support yourself, and their concerns will help give you ideas to help them while you're helping yourself. Assess your skills. With a goal in mind, you'll clearly see that what needs to be done to get there and what skills you need to develop, what you accomplish within your goals. Don't be afraid to learn a new skill or ask for help. And remember, the skills you gain will always stay with you. And then finally, act. Be proactive about managing this change. Don't wait around. Start thinking about your future right now. When it comes to job search, the main questions are, what is important to me and where do I need the most help? And of course, stay positive.
Thank you so much, Mara. That was really informative. And I think that folks on the call can take away some substantive tips that they can use to actually, put the next foot forward as they transition in their career. We're coming on the hour, and I want to invite folks to add any questions they might have into the Q&A box. As we were chatting, I was thinking about, we covered a lot of ground, and I'm just curious, in your role as a career coach at Challenger, what is the most frequently asked question you're getting from job seekers, and what advice do you give them in response to that question?
The most frequent question is, how long will it take? How long is this going to take? And the average person, it takes about 3 months from the start of really creating an action plan. And that's really depends on how far you're willing to take it in terms of, what can I do to make things better? What can I, how do I reach out to people if I'm uncomfortable? And that's all about networking. And the thing is, it's about staying organized, having a clear path to what you want. Because if you don't know what you want in a job search, no one else is going to know how to help you. And it's also about staying positive.
That's helpful. And that brings up a question too of, we covered a lot, and there's a lot of different pieces that you've gone through today. So any tips on time management? You said make this sort of your full-time job, but any more specific tips on time management?
Well, I would organize your day, spend a couple of hours, going on LinkedIn. That's considered networking. I know it's a little more comfortable than being in person, but make sure that you're doing things that make you feel like you're accomplishing something. If it's to start out the first week just by creating an action plan. Okay, how many hours a day do I want to spend doing this? Do I want to be on LinkedIn on a weekend? No, there's no point. Make sure to take your time off as well. Manage things as if you would be normally managing a work week. Spend your time, get up doing the same things you would do normally, have your coffee, and do all of the things that you want to do to keep positive. But again, it's also about, with the networking piece, it's about, meet with people in person, have those phone calls, have coffee with people. You're going to be more social. And this is a great time of year to be launching this too, because a lot of people do hiring. We happen to be in ironically, it feels like it's a weird job market, but people are hiring. We're in one of the best times. And a lot of places, I was speaking with somebody yesterday that was in finance, and she was saying, she's hearing that as soon as people, like March is going to be a really big time for financial hiring and other things. And it's about understanding when companies are ready to hire, their fiscal calendar, all of that. But it's also understanding that, even if somebody is going to help you, you never want to ask them for a job. You want to ask for advice. You don't want to give them the ownership. You want to say, hey, you've done really well at X, or I know you love, a lot of people, let's meet and chat about this. And you never know.
And as you organize yourself and you come up with your action plan, one of the questions we got is, what's the first thing I should do to set myself up for a successful search? Of the things we've covered, what would you say is point one?
First thing to do is to write down what you want in a position and go through your skills and abilities and have some sort of plan of, well, what am I looking for? Because the thing is, you always have things that you didn't like in your last job. Well, of course, you can't love every single thing about a job, but you want to know what's the most important thing to you, what really matters. And for some people, for some people, it might be money, and that's fine. But it also could be, the flexibility of work. Maybe you're not looking for a position that's not remote. And if that's the case, you have to be flexible you might have to take a little bit less if you get the things that you want in that position. But it's all about really creating an action plan and knowing, okay, I'm going to do these things per day. I have these skills, and I can't stress this enough. Make sure your LinkedIn is up to date as much as possible. I mean, we'll go through piece by piece, but you shouldn't be embarrassed of it, because you want to remember that's the number one thing that people will find if they Google you.
Okay.
And
And our last question, oh, go ahead.
for the people with various experience, you don't have to narrow down the roles in industry. You want to think of where all of your experience goes in to play. Yes, if it's specific, if you're looking in two different industries, that's not a problem, because most of these things, it's cross-functional. Nothing works in a bubble anyway. But you want to focus first on the industry that's your top priority. So the place where you really want to work. If you really want to work in advertising, then you should be focusing more on advertising first. But if you really want to be like let's say in education, you may need more training. You first want to see, what certifications do I need to begin with. And and that, again, it's all cyclical. Different times of year have different areas. Like education, come March, that's when the jobs are being posted for the following year, and so on. And again,
Fantastic.
ask for advice.
It sounds like that self-assessment function is really point one and the starting point for a lot of people. And I think in a lot of ways, whether you're transitioning in your career or looking for personal development, that self-assessment sounds like it's the right place to start. All right. Thank you so much, Mara. It's been wonderful to spend this hour with you. You really set the stage for a great series of Lunch and Learns. And I know that, our alum are going to take away tips from today's session. For folks on the call, as I stated at the outset, today was an introduction to our career transition topics. And over the next several months, we're going to host a series of webinars digging deeper into the topics we covered today. So our next session will be on Tuesday, February 20th, also at 12 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to dig into job search a little bit more, including working with search and recruiting firms, which is something that you may have heard of, but you don't know much about. So we're going to try and give a little insight into how those firms work. Registration links for all of our sessions are in the email you received that you used to register for today's session. There's different links for each of the sessions. You can just click and register for Zoom through those. I also invite you to sit for a complimentary professional headshot. I'll be in Boston this Thursday, February 8th, with our amazing photographer who's a Cornellian, Rafael Batanga. Then I'll be in Philadelphia on February 15th, Los Angeles on February 29th, Chicago on March 7th, and Washington, D.C. on March 14th. Again, registration links are in the email you received to register for today's event. And as Mara mentioned during our presentation, networking is an important part of career transition. So I encourage you to attend your local ILRAA Alumni Association and Cornell Alumni Association events. It's a great way to connect with fellow alumni and expand your network. And you're also welcome to plan an event if you want to do networking in your area and it's not an area that we have programmed in before. Reach out and I'll support you and we can make something happen. Finally, I'd love to hear your feedback about our career transition initiative, including your thoughts about today's session. So the ILRAA Alumni Association is here to serve you and our fellow alumni, and your feedback will help me ensure that the association provides you with the tools and resources you need as you work towards your next career step. So you can share your thoughts via email to our email address, cornellilraa@gmail.com. I want to thank you all for joining. I want to thank Mara again and Challenger Gray and Christmas for supporting this initiative. We are incredibly grateful for your time and your expertise. I hope to see you all again soon. Take care.